Welcome back, folks. It is Jafer, and today we're going to take a look at the newest addition to the long line of the Naga family of mice, and that is going to be the Naga X. If you've used an MMO or a MOBA in the past at all, more likely you've come across this mouse. And so with the Naga X retailing at $79.99, it now brings it to being the most affordable version of the Naga. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if it's worth your dollar. Coming in at $79.99, the Naga X by Razer is now the 12th version of the ever popular MMO mouse. And with the Naga X come some shortcomings, but also a lot of improvements from some of the things they've actually managed to take away from the older editions. The first thing you're going to notice when you pull your Naga X out of the box is that it does not have that magnetic modular design where you can replace the side thumb grip like you can on the Naga Pro or the Naga Trinity. I'm assuming Razer did their research and found that most of the folks that were buying the Naga in this day and age are going to be those playing an MMO, not for any Battle Royale, first-person shooter, or MOBA any longer. And all of that really culminates to it having that lightweight design for the size of this mouse. I can't imagine something like a magnetic modular system like with the previous Nagas to still fall within that weight of 85 grams. With the shape though, on all the previous generations that have released in the last couple years, the X is no different, as you do have where your ring finger is going to rest, your pinky is going to stand off here, and then you have your mouse 1 and 2 for your pointer and index. Now the scroll wheel does not shift left to right any longer, so you do lose out on 2 additional buttons with that. And the number pad on the side can be a little daunting for some folks, but rest assured, this is something that is easy to get used to once you start putting some hours into it. And you can kind of see where 2, 5, 8, and 11 are offset, so you can begin to develop some muscle memory on hitting these buttons when you need to in the middle of a fight. There are some noticeable differences to the surface as well. With the X, it is definitely much more of a rougher PBT texture. But when I say rough, I don't mean that it is uncomfortable by any means. It's definitely still comfortable, just not as smooth as the Trinity that I did use. Also, it does lack a little bit of RGB as it no longer has a shine through on the Razer logo on the back. Not really a big deal. The only issue that I do have with the changes made on the surface is going to be on the side here where your pinky rests. This is going to be of a rubber textured grip. It is actually almost identical to the Lance head. And so I do like that textured grip that was on there. It was really comfortable as my pinky would rest from long hours of playing Warcraft, whereas now that's no longer the case. With the X, it is just a textured plastic, and it is super uncomfortable. By looking at it too with the naked eye without measuring, it does look like it's the same exact dimensions, so it would have been nice to see Razer just go ahead and throw a little piece of rubber on there just to make this a little more comfortable. The grip styles that are going to work on the Naga X is going to be any sort of palm grip as well as a relaxed or aggressive claw. Due to the width of the mouse, it is definitely going to be something that's not going to work if you are exclusive to a fingertip grip style. It is nice though to use your palm if you're grinding or farming in WoW and you're kind of zoned out, you're watching YouTube videos, whatever it may be. I do catch myself just palm gripping this often, but then if I'm in the middle of an instance or a raid, then obviously I need to be more attentive to what I'm doing, and that's where I can go into a claw grip very easily. For your main buttons of mouse 1 and 2, Razer decided to go with their new 2nd generation optical switches, which is awesome to see. On this particular mouse, just like the other ones, the clicks do feel great. I know some people don't necessarily like optical switches. They feel that it might be a little bit too mushy for them. I've never had issues with it personally, nor do I with the new Naga X. There is very little pre and post travel, almost non-existent pre-travel, which is great to see as this is a unibody shell. And I've always had concerns with that when I've used the old Razers and whatnot. I definitely prefer my mouse 1 and 2 to be individual buttons as opposed to one body, as I feel that sometimes it's more laboring to actually click in mouse 1 and 2 when you have one full body. The scroll wheel is definitely an improvement over the Naga Trinity. It still is very tactile, but it's a lot quieter now, and it just seemed overall much smoother. Let's go ahead and give you a sound test on everything. On the Naga X is going to be Razer's ever popular SpeedFlex cable. This is a good cable, not great. It's not going to be as flexible as your third-party cables that you can purchase yourself and install, but it is very durable. And I do recommend getting yourself a proper bungee for this if you're going to stick with the SpeedFlex cable. You're going to get standard 100% PTFE feet already installed. You don't need to worry about getting anything aftermarket. These are nice rounded edges, no sharp corners. They are tapered and they glide really smooth on all the surfaces I tested it with. Under the hood, the Naga X is going to have Razer's tried and true 5G sensor. It does not use their new Focus Plus that you'll see in the Naga Pro or the Viper Ultimate. I'm assuming that would only just increase price, and we're looking at very minimal differences. And for this particular mouse being of a certain genre, the MMO, you're not really going to need something that extreme of a sensor that's going to cause the price to skyrocket. So yeah, them going with the 5G sensor is not a big deal to me. And with all the mice I've used that have had it, I've never had any concerns whatsoever, nor have really anyone in this day and age with popular sensors. So when it comes to the value on the Naga X, I'm rather puzzled only because the Naga Trinity, while it's been out for around 2 years now, it hovers around the $80 sale price, where the regular price on it is $100, and then the Naga Pro, the very premium wireless edition, is $150. With this coming in at $79.99, with a lot of the limitations, I don't know if it's really the best value. I feel like Razer would have a knockout entry Naga if this were even just $10 cheaper. Just that $10 price point of a little bit, I think would leave much more of an impression for people to pull out their wallets for this. With no tilt on the scroll wheel, as well as the limitations of the side now where it's strictly your number pad, I don't know if that's going to appeal to a lot of people as before, where you did have a MOBA hex ring and then you also had just your standard 1 and 2 on your buttons. So I don't know if it's really going to make people run out and purchase this. The lightweight design of it, with how big this mouse is for being a right-handed ergo, I think that it is really exceptional that they got it down to 85 grams. I just don't know if weight is really that big of a concern for your usual MMO player out there, because you're not really doing a lot of flicking or anything like that like you would with a first-person shooter. So it's not going to be as fatiguing as it would be if you were doing that. To really wrap things up, I feel like the Naga X is a great mouse if it was the only Naga on store shelves. However, with the Naga Trinity being 2 years old and the Naga Pro being around 4 months old, it does give consumers great options, which I know Razer has been really good about. But the price point of $79.99 to me feels like it might cause some confusion because of the fact that it's really not that difference in price with the Trinity, and the Trinity is going to offer more options and more flexibility for whatever game you are playing. And again, I don't think the genre of the MMO player is really all that concerned about weight reduction. However, Razer does know more than I do, and only time will tell to see the success of the Naga X. But until next time, I appreciate you watching the video. If you did like it, please throw a like. And of course, a subscription is always grateful. Until next time, I'm Jafer, and you guys stay safe.